Hello, everyone, and welcome to the return of not only the NACL OQ, it is also the return of Crimzor here, Crims and Satyr, back on the broadcast. Satyr is probably gonna have a bit of a clap back about the name, but you know what? I said it first, so that's gonna be official.
Well, actually, I typed it first and it was scrims, which makes sense in the world of League of Legends. We're the practice, we're the part that matters the most. We're building up to everything that matters. But regardless, stick with crims or it really doesn't roll off the tongue. It has too much in the middle, I think. But talking about too much in the middle, we are in the kind of the end of the middle now in terms of these brackets, and we kind of got to lock in now. There's no more mistakes that can be had by these teams, and you know some of these players. Talk to me. What are you seeing here?
So, yeah, in terms of to the NACL scene, I believe this may be the first time introduction for a lot of these players here. For AML, I believe that they've had some experience. So they are newer players, fresher to the higher ends of the scene here. But of course, these days, a lot of players do have that team experience coming in from AML and on their way up here. So I do recognize some of these names. But in terms of this level, this is going to be basically new faces.
New faces, and I always like new faces. I always like seeing the scene bringing in new players, and especially the last time we done OQ, we didn't have as many teams jumping in straight away. This time around, we have 64 teams just in the open qualifier. So that already means that there is a lot more players vying to try get spots into the NACL, and that's where you start to see players really flourish, and eventually they could even go on to, I'm not sure what it's called anymore because no one really watches it. It's like the LCS, NALCS, North
Oh,
American
yeah.
League, the Americas League. What is it called now?
Don't ask me. Don't
Yeah,
ask me. You know,
exactly. Like
maybe
no
we
one
don't
knows
know
anymore.
either.
It's every year it
No, it's
changes. Every year.
yeah. So with the we have new players coming in. I mean, also to the top end, Latin, North America as well. So there's a whole bunch of changing going on here. Biggest thing for us right here today, Sitter, besides new players coming in, is that new format. I don't know if you've seen it or heard about it, but I think we've at least improved for the OQ scene here, a much better format. And so, explaining this a little bit here is both of these teams have lost their first round. So, this is in fact round one of the losers bracket. But yes, that is correct. We have a losers bracket now in the OQ. Sater, what do you think about this new format? Because you were casting as well the last OQs, and now we're moving over to this new format. What do you think?
I always like a loser's bracket. Obviously, it extends out the time in which us on production are on these broadcasts, which some people like to argue about that it puts a lot more heavy weight on the likes of production staff and it extends the tournament out. But we like to see more games and we like to see teams have second chances. We've seen a couple of games in the OQs of past where people have lost to cheese, where we've seen like Singed Yumi comps somehow win a game, and that eliminates someone that might have been in the top 10 in seeding. They might have been a team that could have went all the way, and they got eliminated. And five amazing players just managed to lose against a squad that on their best day might not have beaten them. It was just this one idea they had that somehow worked, which is incredible. But you have teams that have amazing players that are just dropping out too fast. With this, we have second chance. We get the Renata Revi, fight or die, lower bracket, and they can run all the way through. They can get back to where they need to be, especially with the likes of in the past, it was GHG dropping games early. Titan dropped one yesterday that we had to watch. All these things matter. Also, more importantly, we have Fearless Draft. You
Yeah.
can't be ignoring the Fearless Draft. That is the best thing to be added ever. This is what we want in League of Legends. But straight off the bat, Zyra, will we see the Skarner ban, trade it back over for Xin Zhao, the usuals, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be a nice and easy draft for the start, right?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what's OP, I think everyone's pretty aware of that. As we have some more. Varus also makes a lot of sense. Ash, strong 80 carries. Things like that forced lane swaps. I'm not sure if we're going to see that here today, especially with these bans coming out. As we have Vi, another very, very popular champion. So, in terms of players that I've definitely seen before here, we have Broad Coma on ADC. Definitely seen a lot of good plays coming out from them as well. I'm sure if you're following around with the Aegis scene, you know Prod as well and Midoriyama. Japanese messing me up there. As we have the Wukong band coming through, and now for first pick, Seder, what are you thinking here? What's going to be your prio?
My probably would be a
Skarner?
jungler here, considering we saw
Yeah.
jungle bans come through immediately. But it's actually
Okay.
going to be the Ambessa, so we should see Cassante traded off on the other side of that one. Go double dash, top lane, all in, all out, everything you ever needed. But it depends on what Samanosuke can play. But they are going to opt into that Skarner, which I said earlier. Now, there is a bit of contention with coaches and analysts saying Skarner is fake, while other people are saying no, it's still broken. I'm in the Skarner is fake train. I'm starting to see why it isn't the greatest pick and we should be stepping away from it. But they're also taking the best ADC you can alongside the Skarner, which is a Jinx. Everyone loves Jinx. Great champion, great TV series. Nothing is ever wrong with Jinx.
Yeah, so already here, Indigo solidifying themselves a pretty nasty front to back team fight comp here. Just need to get that one reset to just blow over the rest of Starry Sky here, as they're going for a little bit more pick centric style. Look, they got some dive in with the Kaisa and the Mbessa here, so that's obviously to counter the Jinx. So what's going to be your read here, Seder?
Well, at the moment, they're going to need to neutralize that lane. So something with heavy CC can get Jinx out of trouble. Headbutts are great for that. My one issue right now is that they've taken the Mbessa Sejuani Kaisa, right? They're all great picks, and they can all proc the passive for Kaisa to activate that ult. But Mbessa can pierce through any front line and get to a backline carry. If Mbessa can get to that Jinx, Kaisa can get there too. That could be a dead Jinx very, very quickly. So I'm not liking the Alistar. I would have liked something maybe a little more shielding, something that can help buff up those stats to keep Jinx alive, not to try headbutt something away, because you currently have two targets that want to get onto your Jinx. You have one headbutt, one pulverize, and not a lot of Alistars can separate those abilities into two separate ones. They usually do them together. So I'm a little bit worried, but with the rest of those bans coming through, Galio and Orianna, I thought they would have been brilliant for your team, but you've decided to take them away. On the other side, Nautilus ban is an interesting one. Silas, I'm not really seeing the vision there with that one. Silas doesn't really have amazing ults to take right now, bar the Alistair, which is the classic, but you're leaving open the Talias, the Hui, picks like that, which are just so good at controlling zones, especially with those pebbles, and a lot of dashes on your team. That Talia is going to rip through you.
Okay, and looks like Sky has a no mobility comp being set up here. Talia, Poppy, you will not dash. So it does look like that Renekton pick is going to hurt quite a bit into these two. Hui going to be rounding out the last one for the range and poke. As we can see here, Indigo, they do have the range advantage. It's kind of a thing that you have to really play around. So it has that higher level of execution. But Seder, are you going to say that Indigo have the advantage with this higher range, or do you like Starry Sky's comp so far?
At the moment, Starry Sky have a comp that makes sense. On paper, you know exactly what your job is. Kill the Jinx. That's pretty much it. You were playing the Enforcer comp. You were all trying to dive onto one target, apprehend the criminal, the classic. On the other side, though, it's the way that's like speaking to me, because that's corridor-based gameplay. That's Five Nights at Freddy's, you gotta watch all your cameras style thing, where like if there's a way somewhere in a corridor and you try to go in there, you're gonna die. It's very, very simple. And John, if they can open up those avenues for John to play around objectives, get into tight corridors, it's going to be very difficult for Sky to maneuver around that, because they have high and low mobility sparingly. Like Kaisa needs that passive proc, Poppy needs good angles onto walls, and Bessa can pierce, but if they go too far in and they find a Skarner waiting for them, it could get very messy very quickly. And on the other side, IDG, they are looking for one reset, and then Jinx is unlocked. It's like, get that reset, let the Jinx go. It's like letting the dog off the leash, like start barking at them and just run at them at top speed. So I'm interested to see how both work. At the end of the day, we can always say this comp should win on paper, this one is better. We can't tell that, because there's always going to be one lane that ruins it first and someone goes 3-0, right?
Yeah, there are conditions that have to be met still, despite if your comp is winning or not. You still got to play it out correctly, and so we'll see. Indigo's got quite a beefy front line here. They got the Renekton, who can apply that drain tank. They have the Skarner, who is going to just be an absolute health pool, and that Alistar, who with the ultimate will be quite tanky. So Low damage comp. They have to protect their carries, like you're saying here, and now it's going to be the execution, including in lane phase. Because if your Jinx falls behind in the early game, there's not going to be enough damage, right, to carry out these team fights, Satyr.
Yeah, well, I think there's still a way there, and I'm not sure if you've seen how broken Wei is lately, but it's starting to get the old Syndra numbers of crazy. But regardless of that, I am enjoying the fact that they do have like that hyper carry bot lane. I always like seeing that. I don't like these Varus and Ashes. I'm glad they banned us. It's just boring. As an ADC, I want to be doing attack damage, not attack utility. It's very simple stuff, but I think the one pick that's standing out more than anything else to me is Alistair. Like, that has to be a comfort pick for why do people feed. It has to be something that is just, this is my pick. I know what I'm doing, because I just don't see it anymore.
Alistar is kind of more of a counter pick as well, so they did feel comfortable picking it because that Kaisa early walk-in as well. Flux really playing aggressively for the wave here, but it is a Jinx with rockets. I'm just going to go ahead and auto-clear that as well. And if they get that first push advantage, Jinx should be quite safe until level 3 here. In this top side, we know Renekton heavily wins this in the early game, so Johnny Rocket's going to have to survive for now. And with push on both of the side lanes here, Satyr, are we looking for some kind of early action on this Skarner?
No, I think it will just be both junglers full clearing, taking their time. They should be setting up the classic kind of Raptor Ward information. Just stay safe, take your camps. We probably shouldn't see a Scuttle engage because Sejuani does have a slightly faster clear from top to bot. So we should see Sejuani get there first, hold that smite, and get to it nice and safe. While Skarner, we should see swap to that top side and attack the top Scuttle. But for the moment, I don't expect anything happening in the jungle or in lanes. No one really has that advantage unless John, for some reason, wants to step into the Unraveled Earth and start putting down damage. So Blonde does have to be a little bit careful, but everything should be calm until about 4.5. I'm going to say a solid 4.5 here, Crims.
Okay, we're going to wait for that timer here as the bot wave is bouncing. Broadcom is not level 3 here, so I don't think they were able to stack the wave. Why do people feed? Oh, they actually lose level 3 as well. So this is really good news for Prod. Gonna feel quite confident on this bot side here. Who do you give it in the early skirmish on these 3v3s?
To be honest, I think that there's just a little bit more available to the Alistair and the Skarner in terms of like setting up these fights, but it's actually going to be a scrap for the Scuttle Crab down the bottom side here, as both supports have actually stepped up here. It does go over to Little Pistol on the Skarner, and I'm not sure what happened there, but I think Prod messed up their clear just a little bit, and they got caught
Straight
with
into
John.
the mid lane. W is going to land. Skarner does not get the charge onto Prod here. HP bars are a little low on the mid laners here, but do they know that Why Do People Feed is here? Looks like the eventual bounce back from Johnny Rocket is going to give over this second Scuttle Crab, which is kind of a waste time for Little Pistol here. Looks like they're going to go for a Flash Alistar combo. Can Skarner land to finish? First blood onto John as well. Flux was here, and it looks like they're going to trade back jungler for the mid laner here. Why Do People Feed might also just be caught up as well. Overall, John trying to do their best. Fear gonna land. The movement speed from Plux. The W slow. The movement speed bonus from John at the last second. So it is just gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. Satyr, who do you think won out on that exchange?
John's shielding there onto the Alistair was just perfect. It's just one of those abilities that you absolutely hate seeing from when you're so close to getting that kill. But I have to say, really well played there by Plux to get the Skarner back into that tower range, because as soon as Alistair dropped it, that one shot completely eliminated Little Pistol's life. And a nice trade back, but it's where the kills went matters more. And yes, Poppy got a kill, finishes those symbiotic boots. We'll have a chance to move around the map a little bit faster with empowered recalls later. But on the other side, it goes to John. John on that way. Look at the difference in just those mid lane items. One is a tier, which will stack up, and some boots. They're all starting items. All 4 of the items are currently available on Talia. You can buy at level 1. On the other side, the way has that chapter, as a part of a book. I'm not sure why, but a crystal is less valuable than a book these days.
I mean, depends if it's just a common crystal or if it's fully stacked as well. with that last chapter, I think John's just gonna get full prio in the mid lane for the time being, as we have Samanosuke trading on a Johnny Rock. It's low on HP, so we'll see what each team is going to prioritize here. Slight gold edge to Indigo, and we'll see what they are going to do to continue this. I think John might be in a good position to carry as they're looking for another gank in the mid lane. Supports coming in as well. Meanwhile, Frogcoma is going to drop some waves on that bot side here. Sanosuke going for the full trade. There's the burst combo with the shield breaker as well. Johnny Rocket's going to try to get out, but a flash and cull of the week takes up a kill.
Golden Meek does manage to cut down and best there. Noxus be damned. Shurima on top for the moment. As yeah, Renekton starting to get better at that lane. We obviously them shoving in. Plates also, I think, getting picked up thanks to the now acquired two Grubs, aiming for that third one. As we will see that objective trade come through. One apiece, Drake and Grubs. And they're one away from getting that feat of warfare. And Grubs on the very same timing as Drake. I'm kind of excited to see if we're going to see a full 3 take coming in from the side of Indigo on the next rotation as of those objectives. But with that tower buff now, with those Grubs able to do a little bit more damage, we could see some very early plays come in from Skarner to attempt to get a tower down and complete that feat of warfare, which has been a point of contention in everyone's eyes when it comes to Riot's balance system.
Oh, they're going to be face checking that. This may be a mistake as the ultimate comes through, and Midorima is also here. They're obviously going to try to give the kill over, and that is going to be 2 ults for that kill, but they are picking up gold on their Kai'Sa, which I was about to say, Satyr. They need a lane somewhere on the map, and they do get it onto the Kai'Sa because right now their solo lanes are a bit behind.
Yeah, the solos are a little bit behind. That bot lane now with Midorama after getting that kill. Very, very nice. Kai'Sa's going to be scaling very, very quickly now, getting very close to completing that Kraken Slayer if they haven't already. But no, they just go back for another dagger. They sell a pot. They're waiting to get nothing. They just sold a pot.
Just sold it. Drug dealing over here.
Yes, I just didn't need it anymore. Just like, I need health. I'm better than that. Crazy.
But as we see here, a gold lead starting to accrue for Samanosuke. And as that CS lead is pretty evident here. First item spike on the Renekton is going to be very powerful, especially for upcoming objectives. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious here what the situation is. I think Star Sky has to play through bot side right now, and Indigo could play through that top side and mid if they choose. So which one do you think is more beneficial in this situation?
You're asking me very loaded questions here. Very low, because everything can be spoken about in terms of like this is better, but it depends on how they use it. It depends on if they get a chance to use it. It's all conditions. But on the other side, Talib is going to wall straight into here. Is not only going to get a knock up onto Plux, which is not the person on the enemy side, but a nice knockback onto the Alistair will set up a nice chunk of damage. But for bot, dive available. But here comes Skarner, a bit aggressive there with that jump nearly straight into the tri-bush as they go for a quick drift, Tokyo style. I can almost hear the music myself, but nothing quite happening from that, but a good roam and a good attempt. They're going to
get straight on a little pistol as well as the sun into the wall, and look at the damage coming out from Midorima as well. Ultimate goes wide from Prod, but you know what? They got the kill. And again, they're playing through this Kai'Sa, the one lane that I stated is they're going to be their advantage here. They're picking up another win, and they're shrinking this gold lead. So we'll see if that leads to further plays here. But right now, even though Sky are behind, Satyr, they are playing through their Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant target to play through. I did highlight at the start the Mbessa Kai'Sa combo, which is Mbessa hits a target on the back and Kai'Sa follows it up, and it will more than likely die within a couple of seconds, if not milliseconds. So it is not a bad lane to play around, but the issue on the other side is the Mbessa isn't quite there yet. Mbessa is behind in this lane. Johnny Rockets has run out of fuel for the moment and might need a refill very quickly, but as we do see support in the top side, Plux will get spotted out on a ward, will actually ward deep to see if there's any coming back, but they haven't warded their own jungle, and there's 2 roaming up for this one.
Alright, Little Pistol's gonna go right over the wall as well. Samanosuke has not been able to pick up the kill on Johnny Rocket so far. Why do people feed? The ultimate gonna miss from that Skarner. No skewer here, but they already have huge chunks, huge health lead as well. Johnny Rockets does have TP, so this is going to buy them some time. And now Prod is finally here. What is the correct play?
Correct play here is to get Jinx over towards that mid lane and use John to help get those grubs, but right now no one is moving for this. They're happy to take just the one. I highlighted earlier that I thought there was an opportunity maybe for Indigo to go for all 6 grubs straight into Drake, but they're happy to give this one up. They've got the 4, they've got the advantage with it, which is great, but I honestly thought with a little bit more movement coming in from the bot and mid, that could have been a very easy setup. Johnny Rockets would have been forced to use that TP to get back to that fight. On the other side, Plux, no flash, was forced to recall, did have the symbiotic boots, but was not going to get there in time to really do anything, plus level 5. And then on the other side, it just seems like that was the fight John would have wanted to take, but a great bit of damage onto Plux, and that is, wait, see, I told you, it is broken.
That is, well, it's a level 5 support, so, we're going to have to, a little grain of salt on that one. But I did see the potential, and as well as the fact that there is an execute on this way, and you have to respect it, as we have a scuttle take going on right now. Why do people feed gonna shove Prod in towards the river here? Stun gonna land. Now it looks like they might be able to get the combo as well as the knockback into the wall. Flux is here. This is gonna be an all-around brawl. Broad Coma is laying down the damage. Rocket's going through. The stun, the layering of the CC, the reset is through. Low pistol is low. Blonde trying to pick up the kill, but it looks like that is not going to be the result that they're looking for. Samanosuke is doing a bit of a deep dive onto Madorma. Can this Kaisa survive? Meanwhile, why do people feed trying to sneak away? Is it going to do so? And now we have an interesting situation where Renekton is in trouble. The rest of the team is trying to support on their way out. And it doesn't look like it is going to be clean on either side. Both teams losing members here, but the respawns are in. And look at this. They're going for the dragon. Do they have enough time?
I believe they do. We do see the Jinx now stepping over as well, and although they don't have a completed item, they still have those Berserker Greaves. They have the attack speed to do so. Smite is free. Let's see if they can get the reset onto this one. But no, the stun lands straight on the Jinx, and there's the combo. They immediately get everything they can, but Broad Coma manages to step away. The Impale buys some time, but they do go down. It's a big fight. So far, it's 2 for 1. They need to get some damage down now, but another one will fall. Why do people feed? Is feeding going back into that fight. And F-Zero and 3 on that Alistair. You got to be careful.
Yeah, they're eating good burgers tonight. John's going to go for this 1v1 here. Very strong on this way. Still has not died and has a hefty bounty on their head here. But yeah, that position for Plux in the brush there is just a death sentence for Broad Coma, and they were surrounded as well. And once that Jinx went down, that fight was a breeze.
Yeah, as we do, it looks like we'll have more action immediately as Plux is in the enemy jungle chasing down the Alistair, but you're surrounded by more than you can handle right now. Will they be able to get anything onto it? No. The Stand will just stop any of that. We'll just say no to any dashes coming from that Alistair, but this Alistair pick is not looking too hot for me right now.
Yeah, the plays into the Poppy a bit rough. Does still provide that tankiness in the team fight that they did win earlier. So there is the value in the Alistar. Alistar does also just tends to die. Not really much escape. It is very tanky in the front line. But here we go. I was talking, so they're surrounded on both sides, and this is the key factor here, is Plux getting into this brush, and no one's stopping. And now look at this angle. What can Broad Coma do? Walking up, definitely going to be a mistake there as well. And with the full combo, they are just barely going to get it with Ambus's dash. And, for the side of Indigo, you do not want any fight starting with Broad Coma getting smashed into a wall.
Yeah, they knew that the Poppy was sitting in that bush, and they still stepped forward close to a wall. And it's something that it's unforgivable in those situations. I know you got the reset, and I know you want to do damage, but you always have to protect yourself. And then Alistair, I saw on the other side, walks in, goes straight onto the unraveled earth, can't dash, can't even get a headbutt off in that position, gets thrown through it, stunned. You have no ult, you have no tank stats, and just hands over another one. It's like, the communication should be there that you are getting out of that fight. You are not going in, but it just seems disjointed in some of these cases.
A bit of information not bridging that gap there, and so they do pay for that dearly, Satyr, as we have the map to be looking forward here. So far, a bit of a lull, as we were talking about the previous plays. What are you looking for either team to do right now in this mid game?
Right now, it's more about reading what the other team might want to do. I think that's one thing that not a lot of teams can do, and they don't have that analytical viewpoint of, let's say, from the side of Indigo, they're going, what do Sky want to do? And right now, they want to get as much CS as possible onto Ambessa and Talia. They want to be off into side lanes, picking those up, and they want to be continuing to try and hyper scale this Kaisa. So you need to kind of pick your fights here and which one you want to go for. Do you want to try and stop those side lanes, or do you want to stop the Kaisa? So as we saw there, they were like, Kaisa's mid. Let's see how many we can send mid. Let's ward up for that. We can get the mid tower in the meantime. But they're losing the Rift Herald as well. So if you're going to try and force onto Kaisa, you need to hit them with something. And right now, a little pistol.
Going in there, land the knockback stun combo onto Alistar. Broadcomer, though, is free firing. Do their front line have enough HP bars? Blocks and knocking out Broadcomer. And this is definitely going to be the win for the side of Starry Sky here. We have John laying down that poke damage. So far, has not been super useful at this fight. Now getting here a little bit late. Sevenosky dropping really low. They do get the turret with the charge. Broadcomer does have a reset. They try to play aggressively. Blonde is pretty low. No rocket to finish the deal there. And meanwhile, Midoriya is pretty low, but there's just not enough engage. And so as we would see here, Sky starting to turn the game around, and it's kind of just, they're just kind of winning back to back to back on the map here.
Every fight is going in their favor, and it's just coming down to Poppy setting up these engages correctly, someone stepping a little bit too far forward and getting pulled in by a Thalia, and Plux eliminating Broadcomer from the fight completely changes the landscape of what Indigo want to do. Jinx is their damage dealer alongside the Hwei, but those resets are the difference maker, and if you're not handing them over to the Jinx, you're not doing enough damage. So it's getting worrying, and I want to see a little more protection come out for that Jinx and less of Alistar stepping off the Jinx. If you had stepped into that Poppy while she was charging that and went for a headbutt, worst is she knocks you out. Best case, you stop that and Broadcomer stays in the fight, so you gotta be reading that better.
It's a bit tough situation for why do people feed here, because in terms of engage, it's Alistar's the fastest engage, but also you're losing so many defensive tools when you do. So it's these kind of situations where there's so many variables that makes it tough to play this Alistar. Plus all the dash stopping capabilities here, but it does look like for now Indigo are just giving away these objectives. Satyr and Sky are really starting to ramp up.
Really starting to ramp up. Yeah, that's that second Drake coming through now. Hextech is the one of choice, and with those portals available, a lot more movement available around the map. I'm starting to get a little bit worried here for the side of Indigo that they're going to get outscaled in a game where they should scale better. I think just the money difference is going to keep building the way that they're currently playing, especially when you're looking at it and going, oh my god, Jinx is farming jungle camps. They can't get to waves. And although, yes, it is still a small amount of income, you're talking pennies compared to dollars here. You're not picking up enough if you're doing that, but we do see Alistar clearing out a wave. At least they're still able to leave the base for the moment, but it's going to continue on this trend of Jinx isn't getting enough farm, Jinx doesn't have the items, while Kaisa is just having a hell of a time.
Yeah, interested to see what is the gold difference from the bot side. I do think just due to earlier plays like a couple of plates and free farm that was traded for objectives, I think Broadcomer is going to be behind, but might be able to hang in there. You know, Jinx eventually does, once she gets that third item, catch up in DPS to a lot of other AD carries here. Donosuke gonna bravely just walk into that brush. As it does look like Indigo kind of avoiding fights for the time being. They're trying to power up, probably hit 2 items at least on Broadcomer before thinking about a fight. Especially into right now, Midoriya has basically completed 2-item power spike on the Kaisa. Super huge for this team of Starry Sky here. So they're gonna give for now, but Satyr eventually they're gonna have to pick a time to fight, or else this game's gonna be over.
And this might be a good time with the Jinx reset coming through. That should be the IE completed, which I've gotten to a lot of arguments recently on Titan broadcasts with people where they're not building IE second on Jinx. We've seen Phantom Dancers, we've seen them rushing into Runins for wave clear. Just get the IE. You don't need to worry about the rest of it, just get the IE. On the other side though, Prod and Blonde have used these ults to try and get onto it. Will separate
Oh,
one.
and then we
Renekton, but his
have Tiny
flank is gone.
Rockets.
He's done. And then we see the... Oh, that's a brilliant suppress coming
Wait,
through. Can they get the
Brockoma?
reset? No, Brockoma does not get a flash into the wall. Poppy stunned, done, dead. Shutdown available and taken, but they won the fight. Sky have taken everything.
It felt like a bit of an overextension there, Sater. Indigo were not in position, and they started to aggressively fight for mid-wave control, on top of the fact that they weren't entirely done with clearing the jungle. And you can see that with Blonde coming with the ultimate from the bot side, and just having that combo with Flux is so dangerous, forcing early flashes as well. Indigo just not setting up these fights, not getting in position, making sure they have that clean front to back that they're looking for, and they're losing another fight, and this one is just more drastic than the last.
It is. And it's going to be a case very soon where if they continue to overextend like that, their Nexus will explode, which is the nicest way of putting it. But the game will end, and in a game like this, with a draft like this, where you're taking the likes of Jinx, Wei, Skarner, and Renekton in Fearless, those champions all fit into other comps very, very easily. And if these are your favored champions and you're taking them all in the first one and lose, you could be in a lot of trouble here if you've taken your top 4 champions away immediately. Also, I'm more I'm looking at it, the more it's like if that Alistar was like a Lulu or something, this game would be completely different.
The Lulu does thematically make more sense here, especially providing the shielding and increased damage for Broad Coma, as well as that lane phase strength that they were having trouble with here. Flux might be caught out here. They're making a bit of play, but the movement speed on this Poppy is just negating any attempts at plays here. Again, Indigo, not the best for picking or setting up quick, fast engages. They're more of a setup team where they have to be in position, and so not many angles back other than just waiting for an objective and setting up a good team fight.
Yeah, setting up a good team fight is a big ask right now, as Plux is just walking around at max speed, just annoying people, as most Yordles do. But yeah, where will this setup come in? What's the timing for it? When will they be able to get into that position? They've got the 2 items on Renekton, 1 on Skarner, 2 on Wei, 2 on Jinx, and a Zeke's Herald on the Alistar. Not the Locket, not the Knight's Vow. No protection items there just yet. So it's still going to be a bit of time before they can really set up these fights.
So we kind of glossed over the Otacon take there as well. I was not paying attention because we were having that conversation, but is this going to extend into a Baron as well? Because if that's the case with this dragon, that is going to be a very dire situation for Indigo. But it should give them a lot of map control here. So I think right now,
Off, I believe they're now.
is it okay? They were in
Should be
dire
like 15
straits.
seconds or so, right?
We'll see. We can hover for the buff on one of those players because that's important information. Because that might just have been, cinching the win, the first of this game right here. They're going for another side lane play. Tiny Rockets in Blonde onto 7-Osuke. So far, fighting back pretty well, but now they're gonna get their combo down with the public execution. They do get 7-Osuke there. Held their own for quite a bit. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're going to go for another play. Midorima is walking straight in. Can this Plug survive? This might have been a toss back. Midorima is super low. Going to be able to try to land that combo. Is it going to hit perfectly here? And we have another front to back where Crystal is surviving quite a bit. Midorima trying to get the execution. Does get it again. And now this fight, what looked like could have been a disaster, what could have been the return of Indigo, is going to go back into the hands of Starry Sky.
Yeah, it looking so good. Everything was lined up. They got the reset. They were so close, but Alistair missed the headbutt combo, didn't get the pulverize down, and just launches Kaisa away. And then the attempted snipe coming through from John doesn't do enough. Kaisa then re-enters the fight using that ult, helps eliminate the Jinx. And look, that Kaisa is now 7-1. They finished the Nashers. They've got the AP. They've got the AD. They've got the true damage. They've got... like, everything's ready for that Kaisa to just take over this game, and they've played it to perfection, Sky, in setting up that Kaisa. The entire team just surrounds Kaisa when danger appears. It's get down, Mr. President, every time, and it's working out perfectly for them. While on the other side, Broad Comet just doesn't have the same level of protection right now. Although they have those 3 beefy tanks, they can't surround them as well as they have to be the ones to go in and help set up those fights, while Blonde is doing more than anyone else right now in terms of setup. Like, that Talia is just a menace.
Yeah, creating angles and blocking off angles as well. Sevenosuke now finding Johnny Rockets in a 1v1. But guess who's been scaled up? Gets the revenge kill. 3 items to 2. Johnny Rockets gonna pick up a kill in. Now this might just be a runaway game for Starry Sky here. What else could be going for them as they're setting up for this Baron play here? And Indigo, without their Renekton, might just have to give it up.
Might have to give it up. But that hasn't been the style so far from Indigo. They seem to like fighting for everything. The rocket used doesn't even connect with anyone as they all disperse as soon as it is launched. On the other side, we do see an Alistair in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, knocked against the wall, just can't escape, and now the rest of the team has to try to make an exit here through the jungle. They're going to get out, but again, they're just bleeding more kills and resources on the map, and with a Baron and members down, that is certainly going to be turrets extending the lead, map control as well. Sevenosuke has TP, they're going to make a bit of a play in this mid lane here, plus as well, the Skewers doesn't save Lil Pistol. And Skarner's going to go down. Again, they're just bleeding another kill. More map pressure, more turrets going down. It's just a runaway game.
Just a runaway game as there is not much they can do here.
Oh, Midorma going for the final kill. Dawn is just going to make it out barely. Broadcoma plus the execute. Going to turn this one around. Might have taken a step too far. A little too confident trying to be the hero of this game when it was absolutely not necessary. And this is a huge throw because that was certainly the win, Satyr.
Yeah, it was in their hands right there. If they had just calmed down a little bit of discipline there maybe. But we can allow them to have a little bit of fun on this as well, as Midorama will just 7-2-7. They're going back. They've actually got a Zonya's or the Seeker's arm guard now. That's Zonya's arm guard. Seeker's arm guard, so they have more protection. I don't think the items got changed like 4 or 5 times now in terms of how it's built. Even the items that go into it. Like, do you remember you used to pass it by the clock?
Oh yeah, the stopwatch. But then stopwatch was just completely busted. So they dropped that quite quickly here. But you know, you're talking about fun. I want Stone Cold Killers out here. I want this. I want them just come in, play their best game, and I mean, look, once you secure yourself a nice victory, you can have your laughs afterwards. But I want to see perfect execution here. Pod going in for the play. Little Pistol here. It's a 3v5 right now. Blonde with the ultimate. Talia in the backline, causing chaos. In the bot side of this play here, Midoriya picks up the kill. Little Pistol goes down. Broadcoma is just gonna fall straight after, and it's just gonna be a team slaughter here. No more Killer Instinct, but certainly Satyr with the Baron on the remaining members. This is gonna be a win.
Yeah, that should be the end of the game right there. And I just have to re-highlight the fact that Jinx was left alone in the last few moments of that one as the engages went through and everything happened. On the backline, Blonde just pulls in Broadcoma and Renekton, and it just ends right there. And it's just, they have everything they need to get a Jinx Cup going. And it's just, there was way too much coming on from Sky. They played it way too well. They knew their win conditions and they shut that down as fast as they could.
And here we have the victors, Starry Sky. Now, who are you going to be giving that MVP here? I'm not going to lie. I'm shouting out Plux. I think Plux played very well on this Poppy here. Didn't get caught too often. Basically, with the movement speed, was able to zip around, was able to basically cancel Alistar a couple times, as well as setting up Midorma for a lot of kills in the game. So I'm going to shout out Plux, but I think I know who you're...
Well, like, it's hard to go for anyone but the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa Midorama was just absolutely perfect. Apart from that one kind of silly play near the end.
Yes, very silly.
All the damage is there. Everything they need is there. But it's fearless. It's the best of 3. You can't give out MVPs for just one game. You have to give out a total MVP. So we got to wait, see what happens. But we will be back with Game 2 very, very soon. And we will see you all then.
All right, little jump on the counter there. But welcome back to game number two. Seder, Starry Sky have emerged victorious in what was a landslide victory, especially after on that bot side, Madorama started getting a lead on that Kaisa. Ended up doing most of the damage in that game and ended up getting some pretty good pickoffs on John as well as Broad Coma. So, of course, what we're going to break straight into. What are the adjustments that Indigo should be making?
As we jump up and down a couple of times as production at Titan, I will always flame them. It doesn't matter who you are. There we
It's just
go.
content. You just have to. It's content. You're
That's just
missing
what I
out.
do. I'm used to it. But like, let's see. So as we can see down the bottom, we do have our fearless draft bans in place. And it looks like Indigo are going to stick to some of their previous bans with Vi being taken away, Corky being taken away. So nothing changing too far. Just the order, I believe, is I'm kind of hoping to see a Cassante ban coming through with Ambessa already being off the table. We want to take away some of those high impact tops that take their time, with Jax being one of them.
Yeah, Jax is an absolute monster. Really good in the top lane, even if you're just weak siding because of that AoE stun capability. Very hard to dive with Jax, and then is allowed to carry the game later on. So, unfortunately, here just some information that I'm aware of is that I think for Jinx, Broad Coma, one of their better AD carries. So losing that in this second game that you're also behind in terms of the score 0-1, what are you going to go to? And so with Varus being open, there are some questions that could be answered here.
Yeah, Varus should be considering the priority that's been placed on it. And then
There
with
you go.
Ashe being taken on the other side, it leads to possibly just a complete safety lane. Go for maybe a Caitlyn. Zaya Rakan might be a good option here. Ezreal, but there's a Cassante, like I said.
Ezreal.
If Ambessa's gone, Cassante should be banned. It wasn't, they'll take it. Red side Cassante is crazy. I think that's just absolutely wild. But Ezreal might be decent, but no, we're going to see the misfortune.
Okay, Misfortune to use that ultimate threat onto the Varus here. So they're going to need a combo or something, I presume, here. So some options on the other side in the Cassante. Gragas. Okay, I was thinking Rumble. Probably one of the more popular picks is something like a Rumble. But we'll see where they end up sending this Gragas. Do you think they're going to send a top against this Cassante?
Yeah, 100%. It is one of those like premier picks into the Cassante. Everyone likes it. Gragas can just kind of out-sustain it. I'm hoping to see a Leona here. If I don't, I'll be very upset. But on the other side, they will take Viego, which is good. But Gragas is also very good into Misfortune. If she opens up, you just throw your barrel and say, no, this is Bilgewater. This is my Bilgewater, and just absolutely eviscerate her from the fight. But yeah, so we have Leona, we have Misfortune, we have Cassante, we have All Out, and All Out. Only one of them actually has an all-out named ability, but regardless, it's all out in the bot side and top. Mid, with the Leona, you can't really take the likes of Victor, Hui, or Oriana, because Leona is a great counter for them, as her range will match most of the lethal range for those control mages, so I want to see some aggression in the mid lane. Sylas is looking like a decent pickup here for either side, so I like to see maybe a little bit of Sylas prio, but Oriana on the side of Sky would be very nice as well.
I think on the side of Indigo, they have pretty straightforward, just want to one-shot someone in a fight, get the resets going yet again. So anything that's going to prevent that is going to be good in my books. Kindred taken away. They go for the Amumu, kind of a all-arounder combo with the Misfortune here. They have a pretty sturdy front line on the side of Starry Sky. As Braum comes in as the counter, going to just be in that front line, blocking the bullets, all the damage that comes through. So last pick, what are we thinking here, Sader?
It has to be something aggressive, yeah. It has to be something that can get in your face and join up with the likes of Viego and Gragas, who will be dashing forward, buying more time for that Varus. Ari is absolutely perfect for that, also assists in Viego's skirmishing style. So excited to see that one, but we're going to see a Mel. So this is the second time I've had a Mel. The last time I had it, it absolutely wiped the floor with everyone in the server. It was absolutely disgusting. Now, saying that, Mel can deflect Brom's ult, I believe, Varus ult, which could be detrimental, but it can also throw back the cask from the Gragas.
A lot of, can definitely be a very high value reflect in this game. Now, I'm pretty sure Mel's lane phase is fairly strong, but putting that up against the Viego Ari is going to be quite interesting. Obviously, Mel can block
Uh-oh.
one of their
Uh-oh.
stuns.
Hold.
Ooh, wait a minute, just
Hold.
walking straight in here. Flux as well as just getting the root across the whole team. And that was pretty fearless, but it does end up burning them quite early here. Indigo already is behind in this second game.
Yeah, that's a little bit... That's a little bit cringe.
Well,
I'm not gonna
you think it
lie.
was a bit of a Hail Mary? You think it was a bit of Hail Mary? A bit too early for a Hail Mary, to be honest.
Yeah, it just feels like they just sent it in, not expecting there to be a 5-man spread. Even if there wasn't, if there was a 5-man spread, they're still gonna get spotted.
What
They'll get a
was
little bit of info, but that was crazy.
what was Semenosuke's ability? I want to see it. Did he have cask? Do you know if he had cask for vision?
I thought he had dash. That's how he got there so fast ahead of his team. I thought he
That
took
was
his E
quite bold.
first.
Quite bold. E first as well here.
Yep,
Yeah,
E
that was
first.
the plan, just to get there with pure speed, and ended up being countered quite well. As we have a bit of a leash going on. Haven't seen one of these in a really long time. Johnny Rockets assisting Prod in the jungle here. Viego's clear, obviously, quite fast compared to Mumu on the first clear.
You'd be surprised how fast a Mumu can do it if they path
Yeah,
correctly.
Mumu definitely is not a slouch in the clear game, but Viego is, Viego's just kind of OP.
Percentages versus percentages.
Yeah.
But it's AP versus AD, and more importantly, AP junglers have been heavily nerfed in the past to have much slower speeds. So we'll see if Viego can stay ahead of the curve here when it comes to that. But yeah, I'm not really too focused on that for the moment. On junglers, junglers are great. We love them. They never gank my lanes, but we love them. But more importantly, we have Misfortune and Leona here. And this is a lane we have to keep an eye on because that lane is volatile on both sides. Varus is already poking out that Misfortune. We can see the CS numbers. On the other side, though, Leona finds one good engage. We could see a very quick kill come true. Also, a cloth armor already picked up.
Okay, could be mitigating that damage in that bot side with the cloth armor. I mean, Verse does mix damage, though, so I don't know the exact value. I guess couldn't get a ruby crystal. Unfortunate just buying the cloth armor, though. I mean, so you're talking about this bot side, and I think
First
in
blood, you don't get the extra 100 anymore, Crims, remember?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I've here criticizing them for not getting a ruby, and yeah, they did take that out of the game, so my bad. I'm thinking the mid lane is also potentially very volatile here in this matchup. Trade going down as the Q from Braum goes wide, but I think the mid lane could be quite deadly on either side. Mumu has great kill setup for Blonde here, as well as the very classic Viego Ari combo.
Yeah, there's some decent setup there. It all depends on how good the mid laners are on landing, though. But this is what I was talking about. All in, cleanse, burn. Broad Coma has lost that so far, as we just see the damage coming through with the Plux. Plux is trying to trade it back. As Minoram is still stepping forward. Viego hovering,
Gets
but
the
not
stun.
stepping in. The stun.
Oh, and the finish off with the flash over the wall is going to come at the cost of Broadcoma's life here. But they do get a kill as the wave is crashing. So this is overall beneficial for the bot side of Indigo here. Plus, going to just use Ignite to pick up the aggro. Well worth it as well. So they do get the double kill down there in the bot side. And you were saying this is volatile. Well, now Indigo has an advantage.
They do. They also get the execute onto the Braum, so they don't get that one as well. Just the XP from the kill as Braum did drop. But yeah, very, very well played dive. Very good setup coming through. As we do see a Mumu creeping into that top side to try to steal a Gromp. As we will see Viego more than likely meet him there if he's not fast enough at doing so. Smite is available though, so we should see that drop fairly quickly. But not just yet, as Viego still there. Will spot out a Mumu taking it. Will the response come from the Gragas? Yes, it will. And Viego, they're going for it.
Rod's going to just use the bandage toss to exit the situation here. Is going to get traded on the way out. As now they do have full information of Prod. Like they know exactly where that Amumu is going to be. As Flux and Midorma are going for this trade. Why do people feed? Is losing HP, but Broad Coma here fighting back unmitigated so far. And it looks like that's kind of just an even trade. We'll see if they're going to be able to play off that. Can't get too low in the face of Varus though because of that execution.
Yeah, it's good trading coming in from the bot side from both sides. We see pots on 3 out of 4 there as that trade ended. So they're all going to get that health back. But Diego now hovering towards that bot side, might be able to get in on something here if the wards are not there, but Mel seems to have an inkling as it was spotted entering the jungle. Will they be able to catch Mel on the return? No, they're in the back line. Here comes the fight instead.
Yeah, a lot of people feet getting pretty low. Shield coming up. Do they have enough? Not going to get ticked down
Diego.
by those autos from the minions. And guess who's here? Little Pistol is going to assist Broadcom in picking up that kill. And that is just expected. They knew exactly where Prod's going to be. Prod has not backed. This is such a greedy play coming out from Prod here. Still hasn't backed. It's 6 minutes in. Part of the reason why you're saying those magic dealing damage clears are faster is because of the items, and Prod has been delaying it quite heavily here.
Yeah, Prod's crazy. Absolutely bonkers crazy. Not recalling, not getting those faded ashes, not getting that extra tick burn damage that Amumu thrives on as a jungler. But we will start to see pings going towards those grubs, so we should see Amumu starting to want to walk towards that side of the jungle. They have actually went into the Haunting Guise instead of the Faded Ashes, so some question marks might be raised about that from other junglers, but we have to talk a little bit more about this bot side, right? Because Misfortune is out of mana, still trying to force this wave in, needs to go back, needs to get some money and spend some of it. On the other side, Broadcoma has that Berserker's Greaves, is in a great position to set up. Here comes the Amumu onto the grubs now. They will trade it for Drake while Plux is getting engaged on by the Viego.
Yeah, that is going to be sending the support pack in here. But as expected on this top side, Gragas, great weak sider, but is not going to be able to hold up to Cassante with Prod coming up here. Trade for this dragon. So far, Indigo want to play on the bot side makes a lot of sense. And that gold lead growing by the second here. It looks like that might be a frozen wave too. I'd like to see the wave state here on this bot side, because if this is a frozen wave, Bedorama is going to be losing that cleanse in a couple of moments here. Oh, the wave crashes. Saved barely.
Just about. But look at the CS difference coming in for the Varus now. They have to feel comfortable there. A lot of it is to do with Little Pistol being down there, but they're going to try and get some damage onto Braum, but that wall goes up and damage becomes negligible. There's nothing that can be done.
They can't play down here. This is basically unplayable. They have to wait for level 6 for anything, with Broadcoma already being level 6 and stronger as well. Prod probably doesn't want to come down here because of the power of Broadcoma as well. And if Lil Pistol is anywhere near this bot side, it's just going to be a loss here if they go straight on Leona. They do not get the stun as early as they hoped. Just going to be some chunk damage. Meanwhile, they do take trade back from Nadorma on the bot side here. We see the Viego pathing down. They might be trying to set up a dive, but I don't know, Satyr. Kind of sketchy.
I don't mind the idea of the dive in the bot side. Well, not having the Varus ult is a bit of a worry. The Braum ult not even online yet. And also, the Misfortune has a BF sword. He is doing more damage than that Varus right now. Abilities might change that, but once that level 6 comes through from Misfortune, which has now happened, that BF sword will rip through your team.
All right, looks like they're going for an invade here. I'm going to take away from Prod, who is going to be losing out on some camps here. It looks like about 4 camp difference. So, going to take away the blue. Meanwhile, 7-0 trading with Johnny Rockets here. The sustain of that Gragas really putting in some work. Tier as well, completing just the Gragas wall trifecta.
I guess wall a trifecta. Let's see what they can do with this one. As still just up until this moment, it's been fairly calm. Only 1 feat has been completed. They've traded the neutral objectives. And they do keep stepping forward. They want to fight something, but Little Pistol is here.
Doesn't get the stun, and now they have Prod. Do they pick up the first kill here? Well, the feed is going to be ignited down. Broadcoma just needs to get this reset. John being the huge difference maker here as well, and that is just going to be a clean sweep of the bot side. Prod does make a play first, and they do pick up 1 kill onto the support, but it certainly wasn't worth it. And you can see they're kind of just a bit unfortunate. Why do people feed? Missing the ultimate onto Medorma, which has really helped the damage of picking up that kill.
Yeah, really great work there as well from the Mel, considering they tried to get some more pressure in the mid, but the Ahri just TPs first, but now they're getting collapsed on by the Braum as well. Ult will be Defended by the Ari as well on the bot side, so don't be able to chase that one down. But Mel getting away with murder there, so overstaying in that lane and not moving to their team.
Yeah, John was just able to make the roam down. I didn't see the mid-wave state, so don't see how that is a nice counter coming out from Johnny Rocket. But that was a huge difference maker. That could be the play that wins the game, that broke the Camel's back here. Broadcoma with double buffs. So right now, again, Starry Sky's bot lane just in from one bad situation to the next, Seder. They just can't catch a break.
No, they can't catch a break, but we have to remember how well Sky did play in the mid game of the last game. I'm expecting to see more of that in the future from them, as we do see that recall right in the face of Gragas. Whereas they didn't even bother stopping it, as a TP will return from Johnny Rockets, which means that will not be available. But Grubs is on the menu. Are they going to try and contest it? And no, Prod just stepping away, saying you can have those.
Interesting though, because there is a lot of strength in this Viego right now. John did pick up a lot of kills, but the strongest member, Broadcoma, is still on that bot side here. So just give me a 3v3 contest, and they're feeling quite confident now that Johnny Rockets is here. Prod gonna take a huge chunk. Ultimates are up for both sides, and it looks like it was just going to be a cheeky little steal away. They don't want to fight this 3v3 on the top side. I do think that's actually quite a smart decision from the side of Indigo Sater. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm not 100% on it just yet. I feel like it's a good idea just to take the one and step off. Yes, that's a great idea, but there's always a chance you could try start some fight somewhere. You're in a dominant position, Indigo, and maybe trying to force that a little bit more isn't a terrible thing, but for Sky to get 5 Grubs with a Misfortune that's notorious for taking towers with that high base damage, it could blow up in their face just a little bit. Also with the split pushing Cassante. Yeah, I don't know. If this Drake goes uncontested, we might see things change. But I would like to see them contest this one, Sky. And if Indigo get this for free, I think it's a good trade.
All right, we'll see if they get it for free. I do think right now Indigo should be playing around their Varus, strongest member on the map, has completed first item, which is a very nice spike for them as well. I don't think challenging Indigo is going to be the right play, but if they spread themselves a little too thin going for this turret and the dragon, that might open up an opportunity, which has now been dissuaded by that kill confirm of the dragon. So, a bit of a sticky situation for Sky. They're matching strong side of Indigo here, and we've seen how that has gone the past few times.
Yeah, so Drake over. Nice setup there for Indigo to unlock a win condition for themselves, get those 2 Drakes. Set up for that one.
Does change the production, and now they're trying to set up the kill combo with the knock-up. Ignite. Whistle going to actually pick that one up at the end there. And that is just another win as again.
Cleanse was wasted.
They're feeling the pressure now. And honestly, there is a lot of pressure being put onto the spot lane here. Besides the misplays, it's just tough to play this scenario out.
I honestly think that Midorama there was expecting to cleanse the gray screen. It was so late. It's just a wasted summoner there. But yeah, like I really do think that this bot lane has just turned it on its head. Broadcoma's feeling like they should have won last game with how strong they were on Jinx. They were like, I should have won that game, so I'm going to punish you now with the Varus that you've left open for me. So yeah, it's really looking like a Varus Viego kind of style game. It'll be good to see. John, you did not just charm a minion and miss it anyway. John, please, please. It's the micros here. Rims, they're killing me.
May slowly but surely Sater's losing his sanity as the depths of League of Legends stares into his soul. Okay, Flux. I don't think there's going to be enough damage to kill, but that is some trade. Ultimate 4 HP here. Broad looking to make a play, but guess what? The rest of the team's here. This could be a huge disaster. Little Pistol just needs one reset. Johnny Rocket's dropping super low. Flux is now just trying to make it out of the situation. Gonna be able to flash out, but not enough to save. Johnny Rockets is low. John still has one dash left, as well as the reset from Viego. Can they pick up another kill here? No flash. Does land the stun. Do they have the charm? Charm is going to be reflected, and the root going to fizzle out on that play. But again, a risky play to try to get back into the game, Sater. And I mean, I guess it wasn't the worst thing in the world for the side of Starry Sky.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be.
Sater's losing it. Sater, are you okay?
Yeah, I've lost it. It's complete. My brain's just gone. It's just the engages are just backwards, and all the focus is wrong, and everything's gone weird. But we are going to see more fights in the top side. Varus, you are stronger than these. This is an easy fight for you. And then here comes Viego. It's an easy setup, an easy swap, an easy kill. Plux, you are not tanky enough to be in this position. That is a Varus. They excel in killing tanks. Why are you fighting these?
Yeah, did think that they had the advantage. Obviously, Varus very immobile versus the Cassante in his all-out form, but didn't really have enough alone time to get the kill on the Brock Coma. And again, Varus, Blade of the Root King, healing, the HP percentile damage with an execute. That was not such a good idea. Charm getting reflected back again onto John. But the trade is actually starting to go into their favor. Prod here, going to try to even up the score. Just needs to land a better toss. A bit premature. John gets away. Does use the ultimate though. But with Malignance, should be able to get that soon. As it looks like full swap to the top side here. Broadcoma going to get that turret as well as this pickup here. So objectives going over to Indigo, and it's looking like we're getting the reverse landslide now for Indigo.
Yeah. Everything's going in the favor of Indigo, and it doesn't seem like Sky have a response for anything just yet. They're too far behind in all the places that matter. When you just look at objectives, it's like, yeah, they've got 5 grubs, but they're not getting to the towers. The 2 Drakes are already in favor of Indigo, and they're looking to get their 3rd, and they're setting up well for it as they move that bot lane straight into the mid lane, which means they have 4 already on this side of the map. And then when you look at the other situation of kills, 3 of them are on the Leona. Not your target for kills.
Yeah, that is. I mean, a slightly tankier Leona doesn't win you this game, especially with the damage now in the hands of Broadcoma, who is having a bit of a revitalization in this game on the Varus. And you do have to wonder. I mean, they did trade Cassante for the Varus, but it is looking like the Varus is playing out much better on the side of Indigo.
Yeah, that utility ADC, which I hate. I will not go back on that. I still hate them. They are showing up a lot better for Broadcoma than the hyper carry that we saw previously with the Jinx. Although the Jinx did have some great moments, resets and opportunities, they did step up too far, while Varus, you never need to step up because your range is disgusting because you just get to throw arrows for days. So it is a much better look here for Broadcoma, and maybe we'll see that Ashe come out as the last utility to hit the bot side. We'll see things change up very quickly as Little Pistol not even expending the smite there. Full comfort in taking that one. They have every bit of information they need.
Yeah, there's no Jinx rocket to come in and snipe it. They have vision. Don't need to worry about wasting a smite. Although at this point, you know, smite is neither here nor there. So with this map state, obviously we want Indigo to push the lead on their side. So what do you think should be their prime targets, and how should Sky respond?
At this point, Sky just need to farm. It's a horrible thing to say, but there is no play that can be made. Johnny Rockets on this Cassante should be safe enough in the side lane, but if they were to join a fight, they need to get onto that Varus and drag Varus very far away from that fight. And even in that case, can you still keep mid-arena alive? And this Misfortune get their bullet time off without Braum blocking it, without Ari charming them, without Viego jumping on them, without the Gragas barrel hitting them? Because that's your win condition. Mel, nowhere near scaled. They have an Archangels only here, and Cassante, that's 4 versus 1. Best of luck, buddy.
Cassante is one of the best at escaping these kind of scenarios here. Is going to burn a flash. The Chains of Corruption just barely going to get that root, but I don't think they have enough time to kill this Cassante. There you go. Cassante, very fair champion. How many champions get out of that situation? You tell me. As this does leave open their mid turret, so not a fan of that, but they do get some punish onto Johnny Rockets, who might be the one angle that Starry Sky have into this game, because into the Gragas, into the Ari, could potentially be able to pick up some side lane pressure.
Yeah, Cassante surviving that was a major turn for Sky. If they'd lost Cassante there, we would have seen a lot more happen, but Akatan is now spawning. Voracious, it says, which is incorrect. It is not Voracious. It is the other one, which I forget the name of. I hate it. Yeah, that one. Hate it. Don't care. It's boring. We got rid of revives off of Aatrox twice. May I remind you, that champion got changed, but no, it's fine to have an objective that gives 5 of them. But Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it is
crazy.
voracious. There it is. Actually, was correct. So,
Oh,
well,
crazy.
I guess Satyr,
I call them
Roshan,
orange and
Hater,
purple. That's what I do.
orange, purple.
Yeah.
Roshan, Hater as well, I presume, as we have here. Do you also hate Archangels or not Guardian Angel as well?
Yeah, well, I don't. I never hated the idea of revives. I hated the idea of Riot saying revives is a problem, removing it from Aatrox, and then adding Voracious. Is that not
I see.
wild?
I see. Well, maybe they don't want it in the a champion kit, but
Zillion.
uh, yeah, Zillion might be the only one left, but is a support character, so there is reasons for that.
I'll be
Broad
arguing
Coma,
that.
why people feed? This is in a Banish Toss and then Curse of the Seven range. Looks like they don't go for it. The cleanse is still up on Broad Coma, so if you want to win this game on the side of Starry Sky, obviously the cleanse is just an objective on its own. Right, Broad Coma cannot be allowed to remove a CC if you wish to kill this Varus. So that has to be done first, and Satyr, it's looking like that's going to be quite a tall task in this game.
Yeah, they need way too much to even activate their win condition of killing that, and especially now that they have the withdrawals available as well. Like, they can play all in here. We're waiting for the Amumu ult to come through. The bullet time is good. It is getting through one, two. Two withdrawals have been popped. The Flux now in a little bit of trouble.
Oh!
Flashing back in, wants to go for it. The root comes through. Mel looking strong,
Also
but
alive.
it will be a transfer of power as that is 3 kills. But the issue is they all withdraw. They're technically still on the map. What else can you get off this with John standing there so fervently?
It is going to be hard for them to get anything more than this turret here. They definitely can't fight anymore without prod. But honestly, I'm looking at Broad Coma here, and I see both sums up. So I think that's a bit of a
No sums were
misfortune.
burnt.
No sums. Okay, so they just wanted to just get a summoner advantage. It looks like. I don't think they got that much out of that though. Just Prod's flash for a turret.
Prod's flash, and they
got some
show
tempo.
how strong they are with it. You know what I mean?
Got some
Just
tempo.
show a strength.
I mean, this is Dragon, so they got some tempo. Maybe they could have committed a bit more to burn some other summoners, like maybe Bronc Flash. Obviously, Broad Coma should keep up all sums at this point here, as we have Flux walking up here, and do they have an angle into this Dragon Satyr?
No.
The answer
Sorry, I meant to color that. Sorry. No. Look, they don't have that Misfortune bullet time available just yet. It's coming up in a couple of seconds. We do have the ult going straight through the prod, so that's shut down already. They cannot get that CC onto the back. It's immediately cleansed away from as the fight is continuing. Sanosuke goes into the back. Mel ult will rip through the rest of the team as Cassante is now on the back line. They're starting to turn it just a little bit, and it is just a Cassante diff every single time. This champion is not balanced. Broad Coma trying to dodge abilities that aren't even coming yet. Will dodge one, will dodge two, will trade it back. Can they get more than one? They get two. It's a 4 for 3 in the end, but it goes Sky's way.
How does Sky win that? That is insane. Everything going for Indigo right there, and it's just crazy to me that they do lose this. Broad Coma just able to pump out so much damage. But I guess the biggest, it's just Cassante things, right? So let's go over Satyr. What do we notice here in this team fight? Prod actually got absolutely eviscerated in the beginning, and yet they still won it.
I still want to hear. The thing that I want to watch the most here is Broad Coma. So Broad Coma gets 1 auto, 2 auto, steps back, ulted, cleanse. Doesn't get touched by the bullet time, but can't rejoin. 3 autos. In that time, they're onto the back. And by the time they get back into it, Cassante is able to take out 1 target.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
gets a massive shutdown, gets onto the back. Broad Coma didn't have the free firing time, not because of damage being put on him, but zone control from the bullet time stopping them from walking forward. So as we go back to live very quickly, we have Prod and Plux trying to find a little pistol and the Gragas here on the side, but they don't find anything just yet, but they do manage to catch on to someone else.
Here we go, big fight. John now getting caught up. Probably going to use the ultimate. Curse of the Mummy time. Doesn't really land here. Now we have a split fight. It's going to be the bot side. Indigo going to be piling through with the resets as well, picking up 2. Meanwhile, the top side, the solo laners, plus Madorma, are also going to be picking up kills. A double-sided fight. It looks like it's just going to be that 1 for 2 trade. Indigo are up, but Broad Coma has no HP, trying to heal off the wave here. So basically is a 3v3 at this moment. And again, Sky are going to be coming up huge. This is a comeback play. Wait, Prod hanging around super low. Little Pistol just going to pick up the reset. It's in shambles now. Just no respect for the Viego trying to hang around. And that's going to be the Dragon. I thought Starry Sky were going to get away with murder there, Satyr, but it does turn around in the end.
It does turn around in the end. They do manage to survive that one. IDG somehow I know they have a massive lead and they have everything they need, but it's just like the fights look so good for Sky. Everything's set up. Broadcom is out, and then they just buy time. They stay in it, and then they just turn it immediately. 3k goal lead. It's not massive, but just the damage numbers alone coming from that Infernal Soul could be a difference maker. As I spoke too soon, Broadcom, you will not be surviving this one.
Oh, I mean, was fighting their way out of there. Cooldown's not too big. Wait a minute. A bit of a aggressive play here from Little Pistol. Does have the damage. They're going to commit the ultimate from John as well. Dashing around, unstoppable to get away from the bullet time. If plans the route, maybe they can pick up something here. Midoriya is free firing so far. John super low, Little Pistol super low. Support is going to go down as well as the mid laner. This is a huge opportunity for Baron. Why would you fight without your AD carry? Indigo are throwing this game again.
Yeah, they've handed it straight back, but it's just a Baron. It's just a little bit more time expended in trying to get those towers down with the Grubs. They still need to look for one big fight and have a big force when it comes to that, but it's money, it's gold. They've now got a gold lead somehow. Just that quickly, it's all turned back around. But yeah, I don't know how these things happen, but I'm going to just call it the Mel effect, where they tried to collapse on the Mel. Mel, I think, reflected the charm, which brought John in. I want to see this one more time. So, yes, Broad Coma goes down. We know that one. Nice and easy. But Flux here gets caught out. Little Pistol goes on. First charm misses. And it's where Blonde comes back into this fight. Flux continues to go forward, burnt everything they can to attempt to kill Little Pistol. Here it is, right? They reflect the charm. They do. They reflect the charm.
Well, it gets rooted by Flux as well. And I mean, there's like, there's just no reason to go for this. I mean, your Giga ultimate is down. You don't have Broad Coma as well. There's just, and it's going for a pick onto Flux, which is, you know, it would be nice, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. So, I just, you know, I just don't see it. I just don't see the need to go for a play like that. Flux gonna walk straight into a bush, but with the backing of their team, it's gonna be completely okay here. And now Indigo, with a game that's even, they do have Dragon Soul, so we do have to put that into account here. But by all means, I mean, this game is within reach for Starry Sky. Something that should absolutely not be.
Yeah, Indigo have taken too many strange fights and forced maybe one or two times too many in good reset timings. And also that Baron is absolutely massive for the likes of the side lane pressure that they've been trying to exert throughout this game with the likes of the Cassante. So we have to keep an eye on to see how that's going to go. But right now, Deep Vision being taken, being placed, getting everything they need. Plux, that's a little bit too far forward as the charm does hit. Here comes stun on stun on stun, and that should be the death of Plux, but no, they do manage to flash out. John will try to follow it up. It will be a first trade. Prod goes, bullet.
Oh, huge bull time.
Spreads them all out, but it will be Prod going down first. Will they be able to get anything off the back of this one? As we do see Cassante now in the middle of 4, does drag away the Amumu. They will be able to get John on the other side. It is 3 down on one side. IDG, once again, they've lost too many members, and Broadcom has died.
Broadcom is dead, and also their main form of wave clear and fighting have been removed. Gragas cannot cut through the Baron of minions. And now it looks like Starry Sky are just gonna waltz right into the base, get a free inhibitor turret here. And it did initially look like a decent pick onto Plux Satyr. I kind of think that was a great start, but kind of just maybe desperation, or just thought they could get away with engaging over the walls into an unwarded jungle, and ends up biting them because that bullet time, man, was that a great tool. Damage, zoning, just took complete control of that fight.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay over here. I want to see what happens to Broad Coma here. As Blast cones over the wall. They all land onto an Amumu. The stun comes through. Bullet time rips through them here. Broad Coma down to absolutely nothing. And this is where the Casante, I believe, comes in off the back of this one. Broad Coma low as possible. But no, it's just Mel finishes that one off. And here comes Johnny Rockets for the cleanup. The Mel damage, you see it there. The ult just chunking through them. John does manage to trade another one back off of this one. I believe to get plucks. But no, it's just too much corridor damage coming from that Mel and Misfortune, and that is the perfect place for them to fight.
Yeah, it's so hard to fight in a compact space against a Mumu Misfortune Mel. That is a high order. That is a tough task. I'm not too sure that Broadcom wanted to go over the wall, but certainly was not able to get out of there in time. Looks like now the game is completely flipped. 3k gold lead despite the Dragon Soul trying to get vision, but it's super dangerous to be face checking in this area right now. Meanwhile, Johnny Rockets getting free side lane pressure with that TP. Gotta force a play sometime. Ooh,
Using Charmin onto Prog. Gragas will go in immediately, but there's a bullet time that goes on the little pistol. They get as much damage as they can. They do eliminate the Viego, but Prog goes back on the other side. Blonde ready to go forward. John looking for charms, looking for something, but Midorma is onto the rest. The Gragas barrel just send back a little bit of time. Johnny Rockets is low. He could go down here, but it's actually a trade back. Broad is down. It's all down to Midorama versus John. John goes down, and it is just another fight won, as we do see the recall immediately being channeled by Blonde. They want that Elder, and the reset from Mel will secure it.
And another fight going into the hands of Starry Sky. I mean, look at their carries now. This ADC, Misfortune, was just completely out of the game. It's been turned around. Dorma, huge comeback plays in these games, as well as Blonde on the Mel, just doing so much reflecting and just being such a nuisance. Plucks here going to try to just hold them off while they pick up the Elder. That'd be huge. Definitely don't want them to try to save Plucks at all. As let's see if they do pick this one up. The cast combo. Okay, that was close. 49 HP. As they do pick this one. Plucks, just leave Plucks. He's a goner. Just leave, Blonde. Leave. Who cares? Get out of there. Okay. As they got themselves an Elder. I don't know how many picked up the Elder there, Sater, but surely we're gonna say this is a win again for Starry Sky.
It should be. Now, we've seen crazier things. We've definitely seen crazier things. So this fight came from Prod not seeing John on the other side. Everything gets burned onto the Amumu here. The flash is perfect. They get out. The shields come through. And look how low Little Pistol goes. The bandit shot sticks before the jump. Get that kill. Yes, they trade Prod's life, but to get rid of Little Pistol, those resets are not available. And on the backside, Broad Coma getting pulled in by the Casante all out onto a target that is the most important. It's something I said previously. If Casante can get the Varus, that's great. The protection wasn't there. And they just get eviscerated. Midorama, this is the power of Bloodthirster. Misfortune, always healthy.
Yeah, that Misfortune was not under threat for a second in that fight. Meanwhile, Broadcoma dodging every skill shot known to man there just to survive. And, you know, while Ari, John doing a great job on that last fight, you're limited by your champions at this point of the game. And right now, Starry Sky's champions, the money, the gold, it's just too much in their favor. They're going to go ahead and start up the Baron here. And there's just no response from Indigo. This is just going to be Baron number 2 going over to Starry Sky.
Yeah, and you can see that gold lead now lifting up once again. They've got that mid inhib already collected. They need to head towards this top side now as a group. They're going to get tier 2, tier 3. I don't want to see them overforce for the third one, as that Elder buff will be wearing off very, very soon. I think genuinely just taking 2 towers here is good. Reset and then set up for that 1-3-1. Johnny Rockets nearly has TP. Blonde nearly has TP as well. Plus already drawing the ire of many a member here, but the all-in looks like it could be happening as they don't want to leave off on this one. They want to play for it.
Alright, Prod, they do get it. Prod was looking. Bandage Toss was sent out. As they have Johnny Rockets playing quite aggressively. Baron still on the table. Elder about to run out here. Prod going in, and they're going to land the combo. Execute already in the first couple of seconds. It's a 4v5 for the side of Indigo. They can't fight this. There's no way. They just lost one of their carries. Massive damage. Maybe a reset from Diego can give them the victory, but it's just so dicey right now. Broadcoma stepping up. do not have the Chains of Corruption. Ultimate from
Ooh.
why do people keep feeding as it just turns out that all around brawl. Broadcom is laying down the damage. Can they get the reset? They get one, but they don't get the Viego. They're just not focusing on their targets here. So Nosuke gonna use the golden time, try to buy some time for Broadcoma as the ultimate comes through all out. Gonna get that kill. Johnny Rockets is picking it up, and it's going to be an absolute illegal win from Starry Sky. They are going to be picking up the 2-0 Seder and what we thought was going to be at least 1-1 this series.
I'm getting a headache. How, like, from the position they were in, it should have been absolutely impossible for Starry Sky to pick that one up. It should have been impossible. But the way they played it out and they just bought time, Midorima just on this misfortune, just buying time and bullet times, and the sun coming down to help them with plucks. Prod finding key targets every single time, and honestly, MVP for this game, regardless of what anyone says, Johnny Rockets was insane. It was just a Cassante diff and opened up from shutdowns in key moments, landing ults onto Varus. There was never a moment where I was like, oh, Cassante's not really doing everything perfectly. It was like a robot was playing topside.
AI perfected in the top side for Johnny Rockets there. Found a lot of very important kills. Was able to find advantages versus the Gragas as well. It was just all around great pick. We were wondering, hey, you traded Varus for this Cassante. Doesn't look like it's playing out. But then in the end, does come back and win the game. So, Seder, before we go, it's time to name your MVP of this series. And while overall I do like the way Plux is playing, sometimes a bit too aggressive, but is generally making good plays, Midorima doing excellent damage in both series despite going down. And then we have Johnny Rockets, who a bit of a rough start in game one, but in game two was just solid throughout. Who are you giving it to? I mean, Blonde has also been a great support mid laner in this game, but I mean, in terms of who's pushing out the wins from this team, who are you giving it to in this series?
It has to be Midorima. It has to be the misfortune in game two, especially. Just the bullet times were near perfect every single time. The damage was there. They never looked under pressure. Their positioning was exceptional. A couple of small mistakes here and there, but overall, misfortune is definitely the one to watch. But Johnny Rockets in game two, massive, massive honorable mention there. And we can't either take away from Prod as well, even losing those 4 Drakes to turning into Elder Double Baron is still incredible resilience from a jungler. So Sky overall, all of them have played exceptionally well, but MVP does go to Midorima.
All right, there we go. Midorima, the hero for this team, picking up MVP. We'll see if they can fight their way out of this loser bracket because there are more games to come. I believe in at about 2 hours, actually 1 hour and 15 minutes, we're going to have another game served up for you guys as we continue to go through the NACL OQ loser bracket.